Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Godlessness and Booze. Today's booze question was asked via text. And, a friend asked me, do I carry a flask around? It's a very interesting question, and to tell you the truth, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't. I will say that 20, 30 years ago, carrying a flask around had certain allure. It was actually cool. There was a certain cool element to it. But as time went on, carrying a flask around started carrying some social stigma also. And to tell you the truth, I think it's unfair. I don't think that there's anything wrong with a guy carrying around a little bit of his favorite type of alcohol. But unfortunately, now it kind of reads alky. And unfortunately, nobody wants to be associated with that or be seen as such. So I don't carry a flask around. And, looking back on it, reflecting on the question, maybe I should. Maybe we should bring the old flask back, right? But in the meantime, I will tell you that I'm a fan of the half bottle or the 375 milliliter bottle. For example, you can find red wine, you can find good scotch, whiskey, you can find French champagne like the one that I'm enjoying right now. This is a bottle of Mary de Moy, it's a very good French champagne. And you can find all sorts of good quality, alcohol in a half bottle format. And they're convenient. You can take them everywhere with you. And, for example, you can put two of these on a backpack, go on a date, and, everybody's going to have a good time and nobody's going to be too drunk to forget what really happened, right? So when I don't carry a flask around, I'm a fan of the half bottle, and I think that if you give the half bottle a chance, I think you'll get to enjoy it because it's quite convenient. The second question, obviously, is the godlessness question, and I was asked recently by somebody that if I don't believe in Jesus and if I don't believe in God, why do I always have to be talking against it? Like if I don't believe in Jesus or what he can do for me, personally, as my savior, then why do I always have to be criticizing it? And it's an honest question. It's an honest question, and to tell you the truth, it deserves an honest response. The reason that I'm so vocal against religious beliefs, and not just Christianity, not just Catholicism, Baptism, whatever, the reason that I'm vocal against religious beliefs is because I think that we have reached a new low in our country. And more and more religious beliefs have permeated an entire system of government. For example, there's book banning, which any advanced society should not even consider doing book banning, but for some reason we are. For example, you take the House Majority Leader, Mike Johnson, who believes that God gave him the job. It wasn't the voters of his state. It wasn't his fellow congressmen who actually selected him for the job. He was chosen by God for this job that he has now, which it's crazy and stupid, but it's what the gentleman believes. And we need to take that very seriously because in reality, this guy can determine, what type of legislation is going to be passed, what type of bills are going to be entering into the House and in the Senate. Things like that should worry all of us. Take, for example, and another beautiful example of Christian righteousness, Lauren Boebert. She claims to be a moral woman, a Christian, a woman of God, and look what she did to Beetlejuice. So you think that these people claiming to be Christians at least will act like it, or at least will pass legislation that actually shows their Christian values or their Christian compassion. But it's totally the opposite. For example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she goes to a white nationalist convention and she claims to be a Christian nationalist. These people are discriminating against certain minority groups. Like, for example, Mike Johnson, he's known to partake in Pray the Gay Away meetings, which is actually trying to pretend that gay people are just possessed by some demon and they were not born that way, which is really, really stupid. And that's why I have to be very vocal against those kind of beliefs, because not only are they discriminatory in nature, but they're not Christ-like. They're not Christian. So, every time that they say like, well, God tells us does do such and such, like, man, that's nothing could be further from the truth. God is not telling anybody anything, okay? So the more they try to legislate and bring religious belief into our system of government, into our government institutions, for schools, for example, they want to bring the Ten Commandments now. Some Republicans want to bring the Ten Commandments back to school. I don't want my kid learning that crap. Obviously, God didn't chisel anything in any stones. That didn't happen because there's no evidence of it. And the only story telling what happened tells the story of Moses getting angry and them breaking them down. Boom, there goes the evidence. How convenient. So I don't want my kid to be learning that stuff. I want my kid to be learning science. I want my kid to be learning math. I want my kid to be learning foreign languages so she can communicate with other people. That's what I want my kid to learn. I don't want my kid to learn Bible studies. Nobody's going to benefit from that. Intellectually at least. So that's why I'm very vocal against religious beliefs, and what I will continue to be vocal against religious beliefs, because I don't want religious beliefs to dictate how I'm going to live my life and how my daughter's going to live her life and how my family's going to live their lives. I don't care what they believe in. Just don't bring it into my life. Keep that stuff in your church. That's all I'm asking, and that's what I'm going to keep asking because it's the right thing to do. So until my next video, good luck. Cheers. And I got to tell you, even though I'm tempted to bring the flask back, putting this fine champagne in a flask will be a crime. Cheers.